Know this, pick up the cross and do not put it back down. The book of Luke, verse 9:62, the Bible says this: he that has put his hand to the plow and looking back is not fit for the kingdom of heaven. Hey, and welcome to Return. Today, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you worthy of Christ? Are you worthy of Jesus Christ? If you were to ask me that question, or I was to ask you that just in person, what would your answer be? Would you reply with absolutely not? And if we heard someone say yes, would we think they are so full of pride, they are so full of themselves? What would you say if I were to ask you that question? What does it mean to be worthy of Christ? What does it mean to be worthy of Jesus? We find the answer in Matthew 10, verse 38. The Bible says this: Jesus is speaking, and he says this: "And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me." So, how are we to be worthy of Jesus Christ? And he gives us the answer here, by taking up the cross. He said, if you don't take up the cross, then you are not worthy of me. So we want to please God. We want to honor him. We want to take up our cross. But what does that look like? What does that look like for us to take up the cross of Christ? What does that look like for us to follow after him with our entire life? What would it look like for someone to take up the cross of Christ? Well, we know that Jesus knew what it looked like for someone to literally take up a cross and go with that cross. No doubt he had seen it many times before in his town and where he had been, seeing those that were to be crucified carrying a cross. And this is where we draw our picture from this, is from someone bearing a cross. So we draw the picture of us following after Jesus with our cross from someone literally carrying a cross. So what does it mean for us to carry the cross of Christ? Number one, how can we take up the cross? What does it look like? Number one, it is a fixed direction. Someone who is carrying a cross has no other routes or pathways that they're taking. They are on a one-track mind, eyes fixed towards that end goal, towards that end destination. It is a fixed direction, no turning off to the left or to the right. The Bible says that when Jesus Christ went to the cross, when he carried his cross to Calvary, he set his face like flint. There was no turning aside. And for us, we are to look unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Our eyes are to be fixed on the Master at all times, not turned aside. So what does it mean? What does it look like for someone to have their cross taken up, to be bearing the cross of Christ? They have a fixed direction. There's nothing you can do to waver their eyes, waver their direction, waver their path from what they are going to. They are looking to Jesus. They are running towards Jesus as fast as they can. They are not to be turned aside. They have one goal in mind. They are not sidetracked by the things of this world shouting at them for their attention. It is a fixed direction. Number two, it has a final destination. There is no plan B. There is no other opportunities. Someone that was to be crucified, there was a final destination, and it was death. And they knew it. And when Jesus carried that cross to Calvary, he knew what his destination would be. There was no plan B, no other opportunities, no other things that could be done to suffice what had to be done. And for someone to take up the cross and follow Christ, they must realize there is no plan B to following Jesus Christ. There is no other things that must be able to draw you away, other opportunities that will pull and vie for your attention, that will not draw me, that will not move me, that will not sway me from my decision. And whenever you say that, you have decided in your mind, there is no plan B in the life of a Christian who is carrying the cross. There is no plan B. There is no other options if this doesn't pan out. No, this is the only thing I am doing. I am following Christ with my life. Come sink or swim. No matter what happens, I am following Christ, going all the way, burning both ends of the candle, burning the bridges, not turning back, not turning around. Though none go with me, still I will follow, carrying the cross all the way to that final destination. What is that final destination? It is death. It is the end. It is heaven. It is going all the way, not quitting. It's not retirement. The final destination is not retirement for someone who is following after God. It is not a end all, be all, done all. It's not a bucket list that you check off, and once you've done these things, then you're complete. No, the no plan B, the final destination is the end. It's heaven. Going all the way with everything that you have. So what does it look like for someone who is taking up the cross of Christ? Number one, a fixed direction. Number two, a final destination. And number three, a fervent dedication. Actually finishing the carrying of the cross. Actually finishing it. Actually going all the way to the end. This is something that we're seeing all throughout the world. Those who have picked up the cross and then they set it back down. They give up. They quit. They go to the wayside. They throw in the towel. They find something more pleasurable to do and they throw it all away. For what? For the fleeting pleasures of this world. Guys, girls, people who are listening, know this. Pick up the cross and do not put it back down. The book of Luke, verse 9:62, the Bible says this: he that has put his hand to the plow and looking back is not fit for the kingdom of heaven. You are not fit for heaven. You are not fit to worship God whenever you have looked back. You have put your hand to the plow. You have picked up the cross, but then you quit. You look back. Go all the way. Someone who picks up the cross. To carry the cross is to finish with the cross. Don't drop the cross. Pick it up. Know the fixed direction. Do not be swayed by this world. Know your final destination is not a retirement, but rather it is going all the way to heaven. And lastly, the fervent dedication. Go all the way for Christ. Do not go half-hearted, halfway. Do it all the way. Do not drop the cross. I hope this has been a blessing to you. It has surely encouraged me studying the cross and what it means to carry the cross. May God bless you, and don't drop the cross.